Alright guys, I know there's a lot of fear, uncertainty, and doubt in the markets right now, and there truly is a lot of uncertainty when it does come to, are we entering a recession, or is this the start of a bull run? And truly no one really knows. The data just isn't conclusive enough to really say. But one thing that is conclusive is that the levels are the levels, and we are at support right now, not at resistance. We talked about this low volume gap. 52,500 was that big level I expected to come down to and find support at if we had rejected the golden pocket, which did happen in yesterday's video. So coming down to this level isn't anything we should be too surprised of. We talked about, filling these inefficiencies, this wick to the downside we had, and you can see on this macro time frame, low volume gap. Now, if this is not to hold, you'll probably notice there's one more level below us. If we get back out here to our macro volume levels all the way from 2020, and you do see that below this volume gap, you have your main point of control. So if this were to fail, if we come up and reject this, then we could be sweeping this low, and we could be coming down to this point of control at 47,200. That's also right around where we have big whales looking to scoop up price as well. This is a large order that's been in the order books for quite some time, all the way since we swept down to this level. Back here at the very beginning of August, he placed these orders and has just left them there. This is thousands and thousands of Bitcoin, so for one person to leave them there shows that they are locking up that money for a reason. And not only did they leave it there, but they actually added onto the position. So you can see, lots of Bitcoin looking for that tap of volume down there and the big sweep of liquidity at 48.8. Now, will this actually happen? Again, who knows? I'm in the boat that we probably will not, just because of where other assets are, altcoin market, stock market, etc., as well as we have some news catalysts this month for a lot of euphoria in the markets. So I do expect probably going to start coming up with haste here sooner rather than later. Am I super confident in this low? Well, we came down and pixel touched the sweep level. 52,500 is what I was looking for, the liquidity grab behind. And a pixel touch is not actually the best thing we could have gotten. I would have rather, actually pierced it a little bit. But this is somewhat valid, right? This is definitely not bad for a low. We don't really have much of a failed auction though, but I do really like the reaction we're seeing on the chart. And I would not be surprised if this is finally the low here on Bitcoin, finally finished with this big consolidation range. Maybe we don't have this sweep down to this point of control and this low volume gap holds. We go in here to the hourly time frame. This is the box you saw in yesterday's thumbnail, which is where we should have found support. And you can see support is definitely acting pretty nice right now on the shorter term time frames. We're coming up here with haste. So I like what I'm seeing here. If we can get a higher high, I think there's a good chance that we're going to hold higher lows, and that is going to be the low, and we could go ahead and start hunting all the way back up to all-time highs, because that is still kind of my base case, right, to come up to all-time highs. I haven't deviated from that at all, especially if we do hold this. I would say if we get the sweep of 74.1, that would be a big sign of weakness, but so far this isn't anything too crazy. Just filling these inefficiencies in the chart and then getting back above and coming back up is something we could expect to see relatively shortly, right? If this is truly a bullish move that is going to send us back to all-time highs, we should see us escaping pretty quickly. Could we chop in here for a second? Definitely, but when we start escaping, this go very fast. When Bitcoin gets bullish, it usually leaves a lot of people in disbelief with how fast it moves. So I don't get really too worried when we're coming down to these supportive levels, because I know we can get out of these ranges very quickly. And honestly, Bitcoin's not even at a low price right now. I don't think this would concern anyone that's holding Bitcoin. But of course, you look at the altcoin market, most of your risk on assets in crypto are getting absolutely obliterated right now. Total 3 coming down a lot heavier than Bitcoin is. But once again, your riskier assets are going to move up even faster if Bitcoin gets bullish. So I wouldn't get too worried here, right? We're still at support on the altcoin market. While yes, the value area high and stuff broke, it's not the best setup. We're still holding fibs if we pull a swing low, swing high. We're right within that golden pocket right now, and if we are to hold the low, right, we should be getting above this, and this is one of the confluences as to why I just don't think we're going to 47K on Bitcoin. I think we're going to hold where we are, and I think there's a very good case to say the low is in, sentiment's right where it's at to get everyone trapped, and not only is sentiment signaling there could be a big trap going on, but you see a lot of shorts opening at the low. Open interest is going up, CVD is going down, lots of shorts are opening. Now, could these shorts be on the right side of the market and we fall down? Absolutely. So that's why we need to see these higher highs. If we can get the higher highs, that would signal we have trapped all of these shorts, right? We trapped them and then we hold above and squeeze them to the upside. So we want to see these higher highs on the chart, and then we'd have confluence to use all of these shorts as fuel to the upside and squeeze them on up higher. So yeah, let's see if we can get that to happen. We also got some more buy walls over here on Trading Light. You can see, just thousands of Bitcoin, lots of big supportive volume coming in here, right? Not only are we at a technical support level, but we have literal buyers in the order books. Lots of buyers looking to potentially put in positions around this level. So we'll see if it does get filled a little bit lower, right? We could get the sweep of a sweep and then you grab the buyers, actually grab liquidity, pierce that. So we'll see what does happen here. We kind of just tapped this before I started recording the video, so I'll give it some time to react. But yeah, so far I don't mind what I'm seeing on the chart right now. This doesn't make me flip bearish. We talked about this in yesterday's video. This is something we definitely planned for, and the levels are playing out pretty well. I may not be able to predict the future, but I can definitely identify levels for you. And then getting out of the charts for a second, I had been talking about today is the big news day for unemployment. What is the Fed going to announce that could signal markets are entering a recession, or that those recession fears are overblown and we're actually entering a bull market? And that would have been the unemployment rate that came in today. And I had said if this beats expectations, then you're going to see the latter. If it's worse than expectations, then we probably do have a recession imminent. And of course, we can't get anything very clear. It is just right at what expectations said, 4.2%. So I think because it didn't beat expectation, that's why we got this drop. I kind of expected, if we didn't beat it, then it was not going to be super bullish immediately. But when you look at the chart, this does look pretty good, right? This pullback of 0.1% on the unemployment rate. Let me get rid of all those fair value gaps because you can't use fair value gaps on the unemployment rate. But you can see this nice pullback here is very good. Now, certainly uptrend probably going to continue. So I would be more cautious on what next month's rate is going to be. If you do see this tick back up, then you're probably going to see markets sell off on the S&P, Bitcoin, etc. And this could be marking the top sooner rather than later. And because the Fed is cutting on the 18th, a lot of the times that does mark tops in the market. So we got to be very cautious, but we're going into election season. I think there's a good chance this can just kind of trade sideways within here, as long as it doesn't make higher highs and just start going parabolic. The unemployment rate, we want to see this kind of just chop sideways. Even better yet, we want it to trend back down. I think if we could see something like this play out, this would be a great catalyst for this blow off top happening during election season. But yeah, as the market predicted, we're coming down here on an unemployment rate. So I think a lot of those recession fears are going to be cooled off at least a little bit. It didn't come in worse than expectations. So I think especially with these retail catalysts like the Fed cutting rates, we could start this big September rally. I think the September dump is essentially over, right? Potentially sweep the sweep. Maybe do that, but that I don't really want to see that. Then we can go ahead and start firing off, leaving all those bears in disbelief and going for all-time highs, as my base case suggests. That still hasn't changed, but of course anything is possible. We definitely do need to get back above some of these levels. We're at a pretty critical point here, especially on the altcoin market. If a lot of our alts can't just get back above, create these wicks to the downside, then yeah, it's not going to be looking great. We want to see that there is actually a lot of buying pressure right here, but I'm still fairly optimistic. I think we will see that buying pressure come in, and I do think it is potentially the start of the next wave of the altcoin season, especially when you do see Bitcoin dominance dumping. We saw Bitcoin go down a lot today, and the altcoins haven't quite gone down as much, and they're getting a faster rebound. So once again, this is still potentially the top for the Bitcoin dominance. We have not made really any higher highs, and we are starting to make some structural lows within here. This could definitely break and send the altcoin market to Valhalla, but I don't want to get ahead of myself. I don't want to be over exuberant. We definitely got some things to be cautious of, such as the S&P 500, right? This actually failed at the futures gap right here. So, we're getting a little bit deeper into these fibs, but we're still holding the fibs very nicely. As long as we hold this golden pocket, that's good. We go over here to the futures market. We can pull some volume on the S&P to see where this is kind of at. Go ahead, pull that across. You can see we're coming out of this value area low. Let's take it from this last low back here. You can see big point of control. We actually lost that. So the S&P is showing a bit of weakness right now. But, as long as we can hold kind of where that golden pocket is, where this point of control, low volume gap is, we're still at support on the S&P. I wouldn't be too worried about this. Let's just make sure we are finding support and getting back above our main volume levels here for the continuation up on higher in the traditional finance, which would signal a bigger rally in crypto, of course. We look at something like the Russell. This has lost the last bull market range, but once again, we're still at support, back testing this value area high now. So really at a critical point for some of this traditional finance stuff. We definitely want to start getting bounces here, but once again, nothing too concerning because the levels are the levels and we are at support right now. So we'll see how it plays out. Only time will tell, but I'm of course still optimistic on the markets, and I think we have the potential to leave bears in disbelief for the rest of this month. But don't listen to me, come up with your own thesis. And if you have any questions about anything I talked about or just want to join the community for this channel, link to my Discord is in the description down below. Below that link is a premium Discord where I'm trying to provide a lot of value. It's a work in progress right now, so it is 25% off. If you're at all interested, click the link, learn more about it, decide for yourself if it's worth the money or not. And then also below those links are all of my exchange partners, each of which offer their own perks and benefits, all of which offer exclusive bonuses and rewards using my referral links. So definitely don't miss out on that. But with that being said, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.